run it in a particular way and wanting to see change because it's so important within the financial industry, and then also externally as consumers of color are more at the forefront of wealth building and wealth creation, which is all of the purpose I feel like I was kind of put on this planet unknowingly to help do. But you have to be able to kind of separate that and not walk in the path of those other individuals who don't look like you, who don't really understand your culture, your journey, your history. You kind of have to just set that precedent for yourself and walk on any stage and be in any room, who you are. And I think that's where you find the authenticity. That's where you find the empathy. That's where you find the kindness. And that's where you attract the type of people who are going to want to learn about your story. So it's less about, hey, this is a male dominated industry, because we know the facts, we know the rates, and we don't have to kind of spend time around digging deep into why we are here. We all know why all of this stuff has happened and all of the ways that we've got here. But how do you specifically chart your own path, regardless of all the things that are telling you that you don't belong? And I'm not saying it's easy, but once you turn your attention to you, everything changes.
I love how you built an amazing company in the breakdown of that, changing how individuals prosper. I love how you built an inclusive company in working with and leading financial advisors and financial planners on both sides of the business, Latinx and in the African American community, and doing great work doing that. I just want to turn the page just a little bit and focus in that dynamic. And when it comes to there's been so much market study on the African American and Latinx community having a little bit of resistance on reaching for that help, becoming, as you mentioned, the wealth architects of our lives, and being given the comfort and assurance that you can partner with a financial advisor, you can partner with a financial planner, and trust as they're guiding you in that relationship that it is for your good. In some African American communities and possibly Latinx, why is there a little bit of resistance, and we don't see a greater number of that like we have been able to see, like we're trying to build now, getting us to that place of financial knowledge, financial leadership and ownership, not knowing that, okay, you just don't have to go to work and earn a paycheck and possibly put into your 401k, but you can diversify that. Why do you think some African Americans and also probably the Latinx community have been resistant about that partnership, perhaps?
Yeah, a lot of it stems from just, a lot of it is based in history, right? And all the things that we've had to endure as a community, as specifically as a Black community, in addition to things that have gone on in the Latinx community. But I can't speak to that specifically, but I can speak to, being a Black person and looking at our history. And, we look at the Tulsa massacre, we look at, that was the largest to some degree, but that was there were other, Black Wall Streets, right? So you have the memory of that horrible event in Tulsa, and then you have other events similar to that where they gutted through, Black towns and Black businesses, right? I can speak to, even what happened in Durham, North Carolina, because I lived there for a period of time and I have family in that area. And even the downtown districts of Durham used to be Black owned and full of Black wealth and Black prospering Americans. And then you cut a train rail through there and a lot of that changed. And that happened in a lot of different communities. Some we know about and some we don't. And some we're trying to rebuild and find our place there. But when you come from a place of such gutting negativity and then the continued stereotypes and stereotyping that has happened within banks, right? We just had that entire terrible situation that happened with Ryan Coogler going into a bank and getting arrested. And, God, thank the Lord that that's the lesser of what had happened. And that could have turned out to be more, worse than we even want to talk about or mention, but stuff like that is still happening. larger corporations are still not necessarily looked at as being trusted. And we have to work together to really start to rebuild that trust within communities and even that trust with just ourselves in general when it comes to finances. So a lot of what we're trying to do at CHIP is really work alongside these companies, because it's not that they're um, there are Black and brown people who work there who are working on changing, and they're doing some incredible jobs, but we don't necessarily see them, like visually see them. And I think as consumers, we need to see that they're there, because when you're in the industry, when you're in certain industries, a lot of the people and the players, but when you're outside of that, you don't really see these individuals, right? You don't know their stories, their
Correct.
history, what they're doing, what they're working on. So being able to bring a lot of that into what we're doing at CHIP, making their faces visible. So you know that, hey, there are people in this industry who get you, who see you, who understand you. And you don't have to wake up in the morning and read like the financial encyclopedias to sit down and have a conversation. And you can come in as your authentic self and ask questions that you might not feel comfortable asking someone else, because you don't want them to look at you and feel less than, right? Even though you have all of these degrees, you are someone very strong and educated in your own right, but this might be an area that you don't really know about it and you're still learning about, but people do still stereotype us and look down on us. And because of that, that has also hindered us to be looked at as possible private wealth clients and all these other things that come with that. But there are a lot of individuals in these institutions who do exist, who see you, who want to pull you in as clients and help you build that wealth that you deserve to be able to build. And that's on the larger landscape. And then also in the independent space, as more Black and brown individuals begin to run their own practices and build their own businesses. And just that happening is going to change the wealth gap tremendously. And I'm hoping that, our job at CHIP is just to make sure that people know that there are people out there who will help them no matter where they are, right? A lot of it in the industry has been, especially with financial advisors, right? I have to have a ton of money to sit down and talk to someone, or they're not going to talk to me if I'm just starting and I'm literally just trying to figure out my life. And I might only have, $25, $50 to invest. Well, there's now a lot of different opportunities and subscription models for advisors that they're adding to their practices just so you get started. So don't feel like you can't come into the room as you are today, because that is going to get you to where you want to go tomorrow.
I love that. And so this is perfect. What do you see coming? Because CHIP is growing, the brand presence is spreading fast like a wildfire, which is awesome. What do you see on the horizon in the next few years for CHIP and for Dana L. Wilson? What do you see on the horizon?
So much. For, as far as the company is concerned, I mean, I see us really being the place to find vetted financial professionals, wealth advisors, tax professionals, estate planners. We want to make this a really inclusive place where people can, really build out their financial team. And I think that's extremely important, so that we're surrounded by good people who care about what you are, who are financial experts in their own right, no matter what their ethnicity is in this business. They're showing up because they not only want to see people succeed, but they want to ensure that, we're not getting to this place of this, wealth gap or wealth. We're not continuing to see increases in this wealth gap, right? People are saying that in 2050, we're not going to have any money. And I refuse to take that in at all. I refuse to believe it, because I believe so much in the work that we're doing. I believe so much in the financial professionals who are in this industry who refuse to also adopt that notion. And I just see us really being that place to go to find these individuals who are doing amazing work in their field and are credible experts. And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, as long as I'm continuing to build this company in a way that leads with kindness and empathy and focus, and continue speaking about a lot of these topics that are near and dear to my heart. For me, I think the world is as wide as it can be, but I'm really excited about where I'm headed personally and professionally, and just really excited about where this company is going and the impact
And
that
that's
we'll have years later.
that's great energy to have, and the affirmative posture of you declaring that. And I support it and undergird it and say that you will and you shall.
Thank
There's
you.
great things
You have
you
to be
will and
the
you shall.
Yeah, you have to be the first believer in yourself, your own PR person to a certain degree, because you have to, a lot of times I feel like society has told us, especially as Black women, to just kind of not share, right? Not to talk too much, not be too loud, not be all of these things, and especially not be bold and audacious, right? And tell people what we're great about. And I think that's something that we just need to do more of because of all of those things, right? We have earned those rights and working hard to share all the multitudes and ways that make us amazing and sprinkle all of that Black girl magic everywhere that we can sparkle
I
it.
love that.
So if we're able to do that in any way, if I'm able to do that, if I look up 20, 30 years and I have professionals who are coming into this industry, who work in this industry, who do not even understand the things that we went through to do, like through our career, that will make my day, because that tells me that things have changed, right? When they can walk in and they're just like, we don't have those problems that you experience, like that's the goal that we want to get to. And then also just seeing more faces of color succeeding in this industry, and then us succeeding as people behind our wealth.
I love it. And normally, because we're at the close of our segment, and I normally ask for every guest to give a word of encouragement or inspiration. But I believe you just did it.
Oh.
You just see, that's the synergy. That is absolute synergy. And so I love that you are moving in purpose as a woman in our country, and you're building CHIP presence, and you have built a platform for individuals who look like us, women and men, and you have opened up the doors of CHIP, and you've welcomed individuals to come in and to partner and to feel comfortable about establishing that relationship in the finance world. And so today, Dana, I thank you so much for the time that you have shared with us, with the listening audience. You are a gem and a diamond to the world, and trust and know that bigger and greater doors are being opened for you. So if you
Oh,
could,
thank you,
before we
Sean. I
close out,
appreciate that. Thank you for
absolutely,
having
could you
me.
share? Absolutely. Could you share with the listening audience how they may partner with you, with Chip, and how they can connect?
Absolutely. Please, if you're looking for a financial professional, you can do so at chipprofessionals.com. We're on Instagram and Facebook as Chip Professionals, so feel free to stay connected to us. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm at Dana L. Wilson. And we're on Twitter at chip_pros, but we're, always here to connect. I'm always here to uplift anyone in any manner that I can. So thanks again.
Awesome. You're welcome. Thank you for having us. And so, guys, as always, stay strong and stay inspired. Do tune in and download and share this episode with your tribe, with your community, whether it's your family, your friends, your colleagues. Always remember, stay strong and stay inspired. Until next time, bye now.